Welcome to the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society. Welcome to ITSP Magazine. Let's face it, the future is now. We're living in a connected cyber society, and we need to stop ignoring it or pretending that it's not affecting us. Join us as we explore how humanity arrived at this current state of digital reality and what it means to live amongst so much technology and data. Knowledge is power, now more than ever.
Black Cloak provides concierge cybersecurity protection to corporate executives and high-net-worth individuals to protect against hacking, reputational loss, financial loss, and the impacts of a corporate data breach. Learn more at blackcloak.io. RSA Security offers business-driven security solutions that provide organizations with a unified approach to managing digital risk that hinges on integrated visibility, automated insights, and coordinated actions. Learn more at rsa.com. BugCrowd's award-winning platform combines actionable contextual intelligence with the skill and experience of the world's most elite hackers to help leading organizations identify and fix vulnerabilities, protect customers, and make the digitally connected world a safer place. Learn more at bugcrowd.com.
Wait,
so therefore,
wait, he doesn't know we're in here yet. Wait, where are we?
Sean, do we have guests or is just me and you now?
No, I think we're guests.
Yeah.
We are guests or we are hosts?
You're a guest, I'm a host.
I was just hacking into this computer. I had no idea where am I?
Password on this.
I'm in the audience, so I'm
Adam, is that you?
relishing it.
What the hell's going on?
Sean, the password was 12345 exclamation point. So that was solid.
$. That's why
I
everybody
thought
figures it out.
I thought it was password.
It was easy to get in, but thank you. So while we're sitting here draining your bank accounts, why don't we? I'm Beau.
Okay,
I'm Adam.
Okay, I'm Marco.
Is this fake news? Who they are? I don't know.
Who's that guy?
I don't know. This is audio
I'll be
only.
Sean today. I'll be
But
Sean.
Sean.
I can see a name tag, so I'm going to trust that because you can't hack that name tag, right?
No,
Well,
exactly.
so we have a show called What the Hack, and I'm guessing that I guess you just are going to be guests on our show now. So let's do this.
I'd like for Adam to be a guest on your show.
It's his show, dude. But it's already his show.
Some days I'm not sure.
I want to be a host in What the Heck
is, so therefore,
Yeah, but, how about that? We host your show, you host our show, and we see what happens.
That's the deal.
Let's do it. No.
I feel like
not buying it. He doesn't trust Adam, is what I'm sensing here.
No, I trust Adam implicitly. The reason Adam just broke up a little bit is because he's draining your bank account, as mentioned before.
Yes.
But no, okay. Let's just be host. We'll let you be host now. You can host this show, which I guess is your show.
I think we're all hosts. We'll all ask questions, and nothing will be stated.
I would say that after 2 minutes and 13, 14, 15 seconds, we need to clarify to our audience what the hell is going on. Otherwise, they're going to drop right here, right now. So ITSP Magazine, let's pretend we are hosting you guys. ITSP Magazine. The channel is, we don't know. We haven't decided that yet. So we'll see where the conversation goes, Sean.
Yes.
And we have Adam and Beau. And as we should always start with, let's learn a little bit about who you are. Beau, you mentioned you have a podcast as well. And I have to be honest, I love to have podcasters on the podcast. I don't have to pull teeth.
Well, we
I was just walking down the street in front of the studio and someone invited me in. I don't, so thank you for having me in your studio.
You just happen to have your mic, Adam, and there you go. Off you go.
Adam, since the show is called What the Hack with Adam Levin, you want to take a stab at this one?
You mean, in other words, who am I?
Who are you?
That would be a start.
All right, I'm Adam Levin, and I was Consumer Affairs Director for the state of New Jersey. I've co-founded Credit.com, founded CyberScout, and am co-hosting a wonderful show with Beau, where people tune in to learn about situations that people have endured as victims of identity theft or cyber incidents or scams. And what we do is we take kind of a lighter look at a very serious subject for the purpose of making people understand that, first of all, it can happen and is happening and will happen to everyone. And the question is, how do you handle it? And what have you done to better insulate yourself from having problems in cyber or with identity theft issues? And what did you learn? And then what additional pieces of wisdom that we can impart to them to make sure that the audience knows what the threats are and how to better protect themselves against the threats. And if, God forbid, they become victims, where they can go for help and what they can do for themselves.
So to get silly serious, Beau.
Are you kidding?
You're the light.
That's not my job. I don't do serious.
No, silly serious. I mean, do people still think they're not at risk of becoming a victim? I mean, I don't know. Has everybody here been a victim? I have.
I have.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do people still think they're immune from identity theft and all the other goodness that comes from it?
So here's the thing.
And introduce yourself as you answer.
I'm Beau Friedlander. That's my name, Beau Friedlander. It will not help you hack me because it's not my legal name. And that is just one of the many things. No, I'm kidding. I did not do that on purpose. That was just an argument between my parents when I was a kid. But what I think that we've done with What the Hack, which I hope we've done, and I know we've done because the episode's like, it's just, that's what's going on. We're a shame-free zone. Everybody gets hacked. Everybody's got this problem. It happens to everybody. There's nothing to be ashamed of. And so we create an environment where we're not like, what were you thinking? Sometimes we say that. Adam likes saying that sometimes. But mostly what we say is like, what happened? Tell us more. And how do you think that happened? And here's what we think happened. And then we walk through it. And in the process, I think people get a sense of the dangers out there and what they can do to protect themselves.
But if I can add one other note, and that is that when most people look in the mirror, they see themselves. And they go, well, who would really want to attack me? Who would want to steal my identity? I'm just a regular person. But what they don't understand is, to a hacker, you look like Beyonce and Jay-Z or Adam Levine or a host of superstars because you got what they want. You have data, financial information, personal medical information, or you were, in many cases, the tributary to a much larger river. So that means it could be your spouse they really want to get, or where you work, or where you work is the pathway into something much bigger. And if they can compromise you and get into your company, they can use your company's access to a bigger company as a vendor in order to then get into the point of sale systems, like, for instance, Target. They got the credentials of someone who worked for the HVAC company that ran the chilling units in Target stores. So they hacked into that company, used that access to get into Target, then grabbed the data, went lateral, and then exfiltrated the data. And
I think what people don't get is, so once upon a time, I worked at the Intercept, which was in possession at the time of all the NSA files that Edward Snowden had exfiltrated, and they were
borrowed.
They were stored in a way that I actually don't think I can talk about without breaking a non-disclosure agreement. But I will say that the reason why I had to log in every single time I got an email with a password was because I was a conduit into that data. I was potentially a huge security risk for the Intercept. And people don't get it, that like, maybe you don't work for the Intercept, maybe you work for Home Depot or somewhere else, but if you could be one or two steps away from being the NSA, And because of that, because we all have friends and family who, some of whom have access to things that are larger than life, larger than the face looking back at you in the mirror. We just live in a world where we're six. What is that, Adam? The something of separation from Kevin Bacon.
6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, 6 degrees of separation from total cyber Armageddon.
Yeah. Now, this is a very interesting conversation, and Sean and I have been trying to preach all of this, and we never really got into the individual, but we had a series in the past on ITSP Magazine about small medium business, and how
it's often run by an individual.
Exactly. And many times it crosses between being a family member, an individual, and a business owner, and responsible for other employees they may have. And usually that was the point, is like, why should they come after me? And with that in mind, you're just open for failure right there. But I agree with you that you should never point the finger, but try to educate people. And I'd like to know, like, your experience in having this very candid conversation. I mean, how do you feel like we're getting there? Are we making progress?
Well, Adam, why don't you talk about the Paul episode with the guy that had the solar company and then had a bunch of his bank got targeted?
Well, yeah. Again, what happens is that they come after you, and they're either looking for you, or, for instance, where you bank, or someplace where you shop, or when you go online somewhere where you can, log in. And think about the fact that so many different people, over 51% of the people actually, use the same password through their entire universe of accounts and websites. Companies in particular are really vulnerable. Now, think about the environment we're in with COVID, work from home. You had people that were lending, in some cases, the computer that they worked on to their kids for their schooling, or other members of their family for access to whatever they needed to do. Everybody was scrunched together in a small place. Nobody really thought about security protocols. It became almost impossible for companies to police the devices that were hooking into their network. You had so many companies, for instance, that didn't use multi-factor authentication. So I could steal your credentials and convince your company that I was you, but I'm a hacker. And once I'm in, Lord knows what I could do, including launch a ransomware attack. So these are the kinds of vulnerabilities that occurred, and these vulnerabilities only became amplified during the work at home period, which we're still, for a lot of people, in the work at home period.
Now, I want to ask you, Beau.
Sean,
please go for it.
1 second, because it just brought up something. Adam just reminded me of that Oldsmar, Florida water facility that got attacked. And Adam, that was because they had one login for all the employees that were doing remote access. Mm-hmm. And that led to a poisoning. No one got poisoned, but it could have happened. So totally. I'm sorry, Sean, you were asking me a question.
No, I think it's an excellent point. Most people don't think about single point of failure, single point of risk, and basically single point of exposure, right? In that sense. And what I wanted to do, because it sounds like your show tries to speak to the individual. And I know as an industry, cybersecurity industry, the language and the lingo and the terms and even the stack of technology, I don't even want to go down there, but people don't know what this stuff is, right?
100%.
What is a ransomware? What is a phishing attack? What is a vulnerability? How do you bridge that gap on your show? Because everything they see on the news is, well, that's a big company that's being highlighted in the news as being exposed and compromised. That's not me. I don't even know what the heck you're talking about. Those technologies. How do you bridge that gap?
One thing we do is we try to be funny, because I think that it's sort of, so the first episode is called, what is it called? Roy gets hacked by an evil clown.
Evil clown. Yeah.
Yeah. And
those are scary.
And there's Jake's dirty little secret, and Jake's dirty little secret is that he was cruising some porn, and which he says he only does once every 5 years. But he got extorted. Someone said, "Oh well, I've got video of you enjoying yourself. Would you like to give me $1,000 to make it go away?" And by having people come on and tell a funny story about what happened to them, and have like this no shame zone, right, where people can really just like let it hang out, and we talk about Monday morning quarterback, what happened. I think that creates a great environment to get the word out to people. They don't need to know what the specific malware was that got them hacked. They need to know that there's malware, and it can get them hacked.
But in addition, like that sextortion scam, almost everyone I know got about 70 of those spam emails, but some people took it seriously and unfortunately were put in extremely compromising positions because they didn't realize that they were just one of millions of people. I was doing a radio show about a year ago, and I was talking about having received several of these things, and the station manager, who was a woman, walked in and said, "I got 10 of those myself." So it was out there, and it was just a question of who was going to fall for it. And then talking about it openly and honestly, saying, "Hey, I just got duped." Because one of the problems, and Beau mentioned this earlier, is that there are so many people that feel shame. It could be senior citizens. It could be women who fall for catfishers, men who fall for catfishers, people who really believe they won the Jamaican lottery, where they actually won the Nigerian lottery. They just didn't realize it. People who fall for job scams or a whole host of COVID scams and unemployment compensation scams. We had a guest on, was actually my sister-in-law, who was notified, she lived in Colorado, was notified by Colorado and Ohio that someone had stolen her information and applied for unemployment compensation in both Colorado and Ohio. And she received one of those debit cards that you get from the government, which is to help people with their unemployment compensation. And she just threw it away because she said, "I don't know why I got this thing," and I threw it away. And little did she realize at the time that was a key that her identity had been stolen. And if they can do that for the purpose of unemployment compensation benefits, then they can do that to open accounts, to take over accounts, to commit medical identity theft, even commit criminal identity theft, where somebody using your information commits a crime and the trail of breadcrumbs leads back to you and you get arrested.
Yeah, no, and not to be too political about this, but I can't help it. What's that horrible? What's that politician's name? He's not horrible. He's just a politician down in Florida who had a little problem with maybe some female activity and some money and Gates.
Let's just say a United States representative who got himself in a little trouble.
Might be Matt. Anyway, that guy, he, his cohort had a pocket full of fake IDs, and he was committing crimes knowingly, and he was using those fake IDs to commit the crimes. In other words, he would go to a hotel and give a fake ID to go and hang out with a 16-year-old person who was perhaps engaging with him in a way that was illegal. But who knows? And, that is the kind of ID theft we're talking about. Now, I don't know if that person committed identity theft. He might have just had, when I was a kid, our fake IDs all said Chris Lloyd. And the reason they said that was because we actually held up a placard that looked like a driver's license and stood in front of it. And they took your picture, cut out the picture, laminated it, and that was your fake ID. And it sort of worked, but the reason it was Chris Lloyd was because you could sell to boys and girls alike.
Then there was McLevin, if you'll remember.
McLevin.
I love how you went here. Let me get in, because I had a lot of conversation with social engineers, and we're talking about social engineering. And the Nigerian prince, it's something that's been going around forever. It was called the Spanish prisoner scam, way before the internet. I'm Italian. I know a story of people try to sell the Colosseum And some of them, they probably succeeded too back in the days because somebody believed that.
You mean I don't own the Coliseum?
What is
no,
something?
no.
Yeah, I think you own
the star right
part
above
of
the
it.
Coliseum.
You own part of it.
And the Brooklyn Bridge. I have a few shares in the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, that's been sold too. I remember that.
I own the whole thing.
So here's my point. Like when people get all this mass email, they don't understand it is a mass scam, that the internet and technology nowadays is amplifying the power of one letter, right? One email from the Nigerian prince. And they think that is all about themselves, like, the porn scam or all of that. So my question for you, which is what we've been trying to answer for a long time, is what is the solution to this? Because let's be honest, mass media,
it's two-factor authentication.
what I'm saying is education, maybe, but we'll see. Mass media always point the fingers to what happened, but they never really explain things, right? Spyware nowadays, presidents have a spyware. It's like the spyware just sprout of his own life inside the phone. You don't really get deep into the conversation. So we are expecting people to know without explaining them. And that's Adam, where I get a problem with it.
Adam, what about tell them about Dan, the guy who has the ski resorts, and what he does to test his employees?
Well, they also now run automated anti-phishing software where it tests people. But the truth is that even if someone walks in, and I've had this where someone walked in my office and said, "Great news! Only 90% of our people did not fall for the phishing scam." And I went, "Well, what about the other 10%?" And the truth is, it's not even a question of percentages. Yeah. All you need is one person. Yep. And we try to, and when you talk about framework, so we have a couple of frameworks. The first thing is we say to people, okay, understand these are the ways they're going to come after you. They're going to come after you with a general phishing attack, which is dear cardholder, dear member, dear whatever, or dear Marco, spear phishing attack, or vishing, which is when you get a phone call from someone you think is affiliated with either the government or an institution or a financial institution, and they start asking you questions. They ask you to authenticate you, but they called you. and then there's smishing, SMS text-based phishing, which is where you get a text and it says your account has been frozen, click here, or you are now eligible to get the vaccine, click here for the sites and how you can register, or a variety of different things where they're asking you to click. So the ultimate framework that we created, that's also in the book that Beau and I wrote called Swiped, How to Protect Yourself in a World Full of Scammers, Phishers, and Identity Thieves, we call it the 3 M's. And if you put this in context, since you know that it's highly likely that you're going to become a victim at some point, is first, how do you minimize your risk of exposure, reduce your attackable surface? Not easy with 26 billion Internet of Things devices that are tracking us. How do you monitor effectively so you know you have a problem as quickly as possible? And what's your plan to manage the damage? And then we talk about the different things you can do within those M's, but it's really all about, first step, you have to create, just as companies need to create a culture of privacy and security from the mailroom to the boardroom, in your life, you have to create a protocol where privacy and security is built into the way you think. And very briefly, when people say the word portfolio, they think of investments. They don't realize we have a series of portfolios in our lives beyond our education portfolio and things like that. We have our credit portfolio and our identity portfolio. And where we would hope that someone would professionally manage our finances, our investments, we have to be the professional managers of our credit and our identity. We have to build it, nurture it, manage it, and protect it. Because if something goes wrong with your credit or identity portfolio, it could ruin your life.
Or at least really make your life miserable for a while. I think. Yeah. Is it the question, like, what do you do about social engineering?
Yeah, I think what do we do to solve the problem.
Well,
And it sounds like maybe in
problem.
the book is the answer. Let's dig into that a little bit more. No.
I mean, listen, social engineering is never going to go away. And the reason it's never going to go away is the same reason that teenagers like to tell you that the word gullible isn't in the dictionary. Human nature is such that we're not always paying attention. We're not always, not all of us are the same amount of smart. and even when we are super smart, we have moments when we're just vulnerable because we're doing 6 different things. And then we get a message that, for instance, I got one recently, and I have a nasty habit of calling the people who are trying to hack me. I love doing it. So I got one from Microsoft, and they, we just charged $367 to your card. I was like, oh boy, why'd that happen? The guy said, well, because you ordered it. And I was like, oh, but I didn't. He was like, well, you did. And I was like, no, I didn't. And he was like, well, I just need to get remote access to your computer for a moment. And I said, okay. And he gave me the link. And then I paused and said, sir, this is the FBI. I'd like you to hold. And he hung up on me. But just play with them.
But in your response also to the social engineering issue is, look, we all have day jobs. Whatever it is, raising a family, building a business, working for somebody, owning a business, being involved in philanthropic activities, getting an education. We have day jobs. To a hacker, a threat actor, because there are good hackers too, to a threat actor, we are their day job. So if you want to know how social engineering works, it's because we are their day job.
And just like Apple's good at making new product, they're good at making new product. I mean, ransomware as a service has blossomed into this, very segmented industry. And if you don't know what ransomware as a service is, it is groups of criminals who have developed ransomware software, and they lease it out for a VIG, for a piece of the action. And that's blossomed into a huge industry. Damn right they know how to get their product delivered. That's their job.
It's a business. They're good at marketing too.
It's a multi-trillion-dollar business and only getting more lucrative. Despite all the efforts of governments around the world to try to do something about this, you still have a few governments around the world, and we certainly know who they are, who either turn the other way or, in the case of North Korea, actually are a business partner of the people that they hire in order to do the hacking, because that's how they fund government operations in North Korea. So it's a very tough situation. When you hear about, like, for instance, China and the U.S. signed a deal where they would be only specifically hacking each other in certain ways. And then it's like, okay, guys. And if you believe that, and granted, it was signed in good faith, at least by one side. Yeah.
I mean, China the other day with this whole, the recent news that Biden was like, China, you did this about the Microsoft Exchange hack. And China waited a day. I think it was 2 days. And they finally were like, you hacked us. That was their response. And I don't doubt that it's true. I think that we probably 20 years from now will be hearing all about the Third World War that happened digitally. We never saw any of it.
Well, remember that we are pretty open in this country about things that happen. We have disclosure requirements. Guaranteed, we're doing to them what they're doing to us. The only difference is they don't talk about it, and we do. So,
well, we talk about some of it. I bet you that there's plenty that we don't mention.
No, what I mean is we talk about when we get hacked because we're
no, I know, but I think that there's, just like a Jason Bourne movie, like when we spend 2 hours watching, disaster averted in some action film by an expendable person who the government will never say actually existed. I think there's some of that happens in the digital world too. There are attacks on our infrastructure probably daily, and we're attacking their infrastructure daily, or at least doing some penetration testing to see if we can successfully turn off the lights. And I don't know. I think the danger is pretty real and pretty persistent.
Do you guys think that people already gave up, knowing that it's going to happen no matter what? If the governments can't avoid that, if the big corporation can't avoid that, how me, individual, can avoid that? And
well, that's kind of like why we created the 3M protocol, for people to actually think about putting it in context. And I'll give you some real quick examples.
Yeah.
Long and strong passwords, not password as a password managers, multi-factor authentication. Although we've seen cases rising where people do SIM jacking and steal people's phone numbers. So as a result, the code goes to the threat actor as opposed to the victim. We tell people all the time, beware of links and attachments. And they may even come from someone you know. I call people often and say, did you send me something? And they go, yes. I said, did you check it? No. And it can be something as innocent as they got a Facebook notification on something and they sent it to someone else. Didn't you see a story just a few days ago where the Chinese, the ones that were indicted, were actually hiding information, basically the secrets that they were stealing, in images of Donald Trump and shipping it out. So stenography, which is, roof lizards and that. But anyway, that goes on. So it's about links. It's about not downloading every single app that you think is the coolest, newest thing without really reading reviews and going to legitimate app stores. It means not freezing your credit. You need to freeze your credit. You need to shred. You need to be serious about, what you're doing. Monitor, get your credit report, read it. Don't just say, hey, I got my credit report. And with a credit report, it's more important to see what you didn't do than what you did. Monitoring your credit scores. Your score takes a sudden precipitous drop. Only 3 reasons. You didn't pay a bill on time. Not good. Using too much of your available credit. Maybe not so bad, but bad. Or being a victim of identity theft. Very bad. Reading explanation benefits that you get from your statements that you get from your health insurer. We had a woman, Cyber Scout, we were working with her, 72-year-old grandmother. Same day, 2 laboratories on opposite sides of the United States. One charged her insurance for a sperm viability test, the second for a pregnancy test. So it is amazing the information you can find in that. Sign up for what we call transactional alerts from your financial institutions that notify you anytime there's activity in your accounts, because a lot of credit and debit cards are sold by zip code for the purpose of evading bank tracking systems. And then the third M, I know Beau wanted to say something, so we'll get to the third M after he says something.
Well, no. I was raising my hand because I wanted to say what Adam's really trying to say is that yes, people have given up, but I think we live in a post-privacy. I don't think Mark Zuckerberg is a very making any good contributions to society. But I will say that he's right that we live in a post-privacy world. When he said it, I was disgusted. But it turns out he's right. If there's I have no expectation of privacy anymore. So I find the 3 M's that Adam could literally, I kid you not, he could sit there for 4 hours listing all the things that you can do. And
that's the issue, right?
It's just endless. And that is the issue.
And I was just thinking, cars. Somebody buys a car, they need to maintain the car. Do they do it on time? Do they do it at all? Do they do it with a dealer? Do they do it in their own garage? Do they have the kid next door do it? There's varying levels of taking care of that car. And that's just one example. And not everybody does it, right, in the same way. And I think it's the same for this situation, yet it's amplified because it's all technology in all different places.
And it's scary because it's not tangible. We always use the cars or the lock in the house when you leave. It's like, why you wouldn't do those basic things when it comes to your online safety and understanding an online and offline at this point is really like a line in the sand. It's not even there anymore, right?
No, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist, but that doesn't mean that we need to give up, because it's part of our life. It's who we are.
We've switched from
make it simple. Make it simple for people.
Using the bank
understand.
example, there was a person who sat behind a computer or maybe a file system that granted you access and helped you move your money around or do whatever transaction you're about to do. Now that can happen. Who knows who's on the other side? It might be a machine, might be multiple people sitting from a computer, a tablet, a phone, whatever. I think we assume the other side is doing what they need to do to protect us, but we're exposing ourselves on our own side, whereas before we had to walk into a bank, right? That,
go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
Yeah, to put that really in context is. And the CEO of Microsoft said this a while back, and I think he was dead right when he said, we have a shared responsibility. We know that business hadn't done enough. The government hasn't done enough. And frankly, we as consumers haven't done enough either, because we were waiting for mommy to protect us. And unfortunately, mommy can only protect us so far. So we have to understand the fact that we're all in this together. And it's about collaborating, communicating, cooperating. And the fact that we are, to some degree, responsible for, nobody forced us to click on that link. Nobody forced us to use a dumb password. Nobody said, hey, don't get your credit report, don't check your credit score. Now, one thing that is happening, which is positive, is that many organizations now, unlike before, are making identity protection services available and cyber services available through insurance policies, financial institutions, and the new one, which is very big, employers. Many employers now have employee programs as part of their employee benefits program, either employer paid or voluntary benefits, where you will be protected. Your identity will be better protected. They can't prevent it, but they can help you right away through your employee benefits program. So ask your insurance agent, check with your financial services rep, ask the HR department where you work. Do you have a plan? Am I in it? If not, what do I need to do to get in it? Is it free, or do I have to pay for it? And trust me, it may be the best investment you ever made, whatever the price is, because there really is, you can't put a price on peace of mind and identity and privacy protection. You can't, because the world is so open, so interconnected, and frankly, so scary.
Yet people do put a price on it. It's about $18 a month. And but the issue here is, like, when I just recently did a transaction that required a sizable wire. When I did that, I called up the place where I was wiring it, and I said, is this your wire? Is this your wiring information? And they said, yeah, this is us. And then I called up my lawyer and said, is this the place that you want me to wire it? And they said, yes, that's our escrow account. And then I made the wire. And I think that's something that you have to do every single step of every single thing you do every day. And unfortunately, I think it's sad. But so I grew up with a bunch of siblings, and I had one when she was not in a good mood, she would flip off her clog, which was made out of wood, and she would toss it at me. And so you had to be really good at dodging it. And you also had to be aware that clog might be coming at you even when you didn't deserve it. So it might just be coming. And so I actually think that makes me better at avoiding getting hacked than other people, because I start with that mentality of like, maybe that cyber clog is heading my way. We all have to kind of I think that might help. And the show, What the Hack, is really about, an environment where it already happened. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out what the solution to your specific thing is. And let's talk about it so that people listening can be like, oh my gosh, Adam mentioned the Chinese hackers that used steganography. They actually put code in an image of Donald Trump. And we have an episode about that. We have a guest who was hacked, we think, through an image of an evil clown that was posted by a QAnon supporter. And so if you don't know what that is, there's a piece of dormant code in your computer, and then there's an image that contains steganography code that triggers the malware that's in your computer. So your anti-malware didn't see it because it was dormant, and now you have an image that made it live. Cool stuff. If you don't know that exists, you can very easily fall prey to it. Now, I will say that I know it exists, and I could very easily fall prey to it. And that's where all the stuff Adam was talking about.
And the philosophy that you need to have is very simple. You remember in many years ago, Ronald Reagan's quote was, "Trust but verify." Yeah. In today's world, never trust, always verify, always question.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure.
There is a thin line between paranoia and be careful.
Absolutely.
We cross that line often.
Yeah.
Well, we're human. We're human.
Are you?
I'm fascinated that you are able to bring folks on to tell their story. It's not something that's comfortable for people to be vulnerable. Like we're vulnerable in other ways, not knowing it. But to come on your show and to talk about something they did, where you two clearly recognize that it's not that they did something wrong. It's just that something bad happened to them.
They're human.
They are human. They are human.
Right, Adam, speaking of which, I think Sean's going to be on our show because he did mention that he got hacked.
I said I had my identity stolen.
Oh, we'll take it. We'll take it.
It's not a very exciting story, but it did happen. But anyway, yeah, I mean, the point is that the information's out there, can be accessed and used against you, right? And then you have to clean up the mess afterwards. I'd like to, so your podcast, there are many stories, more coming, sounds like, never-ending list or potential for stories to happen. What the Hack is where they can find you. I'm assuming on all the traditional players and aggregators and whatnot.
That's What the Hack with Adam Levin, and available wherever you get your audio.
Love it. And a chance again, Adam, to state the name of the book where the 3 M's are presented.
Oh yes, Swiped: How to Protect Yourself in a World Full of Scammers, Phishers, and Identity Thieves.
Well, I have to say that I really do enjoy this collaboration when we get each other on each other podcast, because if this helps to get the message out there, it's all about that. And and I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate, of course, what we're trying to do, and all the hosts on ITSP Magazine as well. So I hope we get to talk again soon and have another conversation anytime. I really appreciate it.
We'd love it.
Well, we thank you so much for inviting us, and for basically walking outside, grabbing me, and dragging me into the studio, and it's a joy to do this.
Wait, I'm confused. They're not on our show?
We're on your show.
I don't know. I don't know.
We're on your show. Marco's about to tell his story.
I don't know. I'm going to go home. I have a Colosseum to clean.
Don't forget to clean Adam's little piece of the Colosseum.
That's right.
Yeah, I got some more pieces to sell. So,
right.
Right on, guys. Well,
thank you. Absolute
pleasure. Keep up the good work. Those listening, there'll be links to the items we discussed, so you can connect with these guys. And I presume if they have a story, you'd be happy to air it on your show. So here's to educating, raising awareness, taking action to protect ourselves, because nobody else is going to do it for us.
Nope.
BugCrowd's award-winning platform combines actionable contextual intelligence with the skill and experience of the world's most elite hackers to help leading organizations identify and fix vulnerabilities, protect customers, and make the digitally connected world a safer place. Learn more at bugcrowd.com. RSA Security offers business-driven security solutions that provide organizations with a unified approach to managing digital risk that hinges on integrated visibility, automated insights, and coordinated actions. Learn more at rsa.com. Black Cloak provides concierge cybersecurity protection to corporate executives and high-net-worth individuals to protect against hacking, reputational loss, financial loss, and the impacts of a corporate data breach. Learn more at blackcloak.io.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you learned something new and this podcast made you think, then share itspmagazine.com with your friends, family, and colleagues. If you represent a company and wish to associate your brand with our conversations, sponsor one or more of our podcast channels. We hope you will come back for more stories and follow us on our journey. You can always find us at the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society.